Citizens United has been very good for democracy because it has increased political participation.
Right. Yeah, the real impact of Citizens United, and again other court cases, is that it really opened the floodgates for spending on campaigns.
Last week, the Supreme Court reversed a century of law that I believe will open the floodgates for special interests, including foreign corporations, to spend without limit in our elections.
Money is going to influence elections and influence the behavior of candidates. To the extent that it influences candidates and persuades candidates to do things they otherwise would not be willing to do, then the possible damage to democracy is substantial.
I don't believe, though, to be fully fair to Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, etc., I don't believe that they're changing their viewpoints because they've got these hundreds of millions of dollars of spending from labor unions. I think the labor unions are supporting them because they agree with where they're at. I don't think it's the other way around.
Now, obviously, our founding fathers who wrote the First Amendment were trying to protect the free speech of people. But this decision rides on the crazy argument that corporations should be treated the same as people and get the same rights that real people get. This means corporations can spend as much as they want, whenever they want, to intimidate or crush candidates running on a platform against their interests and support candidates who will do what they ask. It's great news for corporations wanting to handpick the lawmakers whose job it is to keep them in check.
That sounds like the sort of thing that a professor in college would talk about. I am willing to bet that the professor who's making that argument, and all the professors you're probably talking to that are ignorantly complaining about Citizens United, are all liberals that are very happy with the system where labor unions dominate political spending.
As it turns out, corporations are not the major donors to these political action committees. Individuals typically are, wealthy individuals typically are. So it potentially opened the floodgates, but it's individuals, not corporations, that are putting most of the money into campaigns now.
What's new is you've got Citizens United coupled with McCain-Feingold, the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act. That was passed about 10 years ago, and what it did is it strangled money going into the political parties while not limiting money going to outside groups. And the result of that is that you have shriller voices in the political process, and you have more money being spent independently than you do through the political parties. That's bad for the political process. I would rather see money going into political parties and into campaigns, but that's not the fault of Citizens United. That's not because the Supreme Court upheld the Constitution. That's because self-proclaimed reformers passed a law called McCain-Feingold.
I don't think American elections should be bankrolled by America's most powerful interests, or worse, by foreign entities. They should be decided by the American people. And I'd urge Democrats and Republicans to pass a bill that helps correct some of these problems.
Now maybe we should let people give more money to political campaigns rather than to these independent associations that spend on behalf of campaigns. I'm not sure that's such a good idea, because if an individual or a corporation or a labor union is writing a six-figure check to a political candidate, it certainly raises the perception that that candidate is going to be corrupted by the impact of that donation.
I think in a better system, you would have all money going directly to campaigns, and you would have that money unlimited to the campaigns, but you would also have it fully disclosed. That's a better system. Money going into the campaigns than being forced outside of the campaigns into these independent groups.